What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Final Whistle. I'm pretty sure this is episode 14. I think we got a little lost
Yeah.
when I was typing them out. I think I did episode 12 twice, but this probably is episode 14. Could be 15, could be 16, but regardless, it's gonna be a good episode. Danny Erb joined alongside my guy as always, Nathan Osler, and we got a pretty good episode in store for you guys. A lot has happened since the last time we've spoke. A lot of stuff in the NFL. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna get into our top 5 Tuesday segment. We might do a Weddle and get into the NBA. NBA starts today.
Yep.
Big day for the National Basketball Association, but we'll get into that last because that's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
So
might be a longer episode today.
Yeah.
So be dishing out a lot of clips.
Solid week in the NFL. A solid week in the NFL. A lot of good games. A lot of fun
news.
stuff happened. A lot of crazy stuff happened as well. Do we want to just get into our 3 games that we picked out and then just kind of go over maybe even some scores of the other ones?
Yeah, so we're going to do the 3 games like we discussed earlier, and then we're going to get into all the news after this. So anyone rewatching this and wanting to skip through, it will be after our 3rd game. We're going to start talking about all the news. So let's kick it off.
All right, first game, let's talk about Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. It's kind of tough to talk about this game without addressing the injury aspect. Deebo Samuel left this game, and who else got hurt in this game?
Jauan Jennings was out. Brandon Ayuk got a season-ending injury.
Yep, he's done for the year. So now it's literally just George Kittle and Jordan Mason. They need McCaffrey back bad if they want their season back. But then you also have to kind of talk about, is it time to chalk your season? Okay, we don't have Ayuk. See how bad Deebo's hurt. Let's tell CMC, hey man, take it easy. Like, come back when you can. Don't be in a rush because like we're cooked.
I would hope as a fantasy owner putting my team before the 49ers, they would make this decision ASAP because he's currently sitting on my IR just hogging a spot.
Same.
I brought it up in a clip, and I guess I'll say this quick before we get to the game recap. This team is riddled with injuries right now. I mean, both teams are. We had someone comment saying the Chiefs even have their fair share of injuries, but the Chiefs are still winning. The Chiefs are winning with those injuries. They don't have their number 1 wide receiver right now. They don't have their number 1 running back.
Yep.
The 49ers are missing the following players, and including some guys that were out at least a game or 2. They didn't have George Kittle for a few games. They didn't have Deebo Samuel for a few games, who's very off and on. He had that illness or whatever it was. I think it was pneumonia or whatever I saw, and he was in the hospital for it. They lost Brandon Ayuk, who they just inked to a mega deal that we both, as Steelers fans and the NFL fans, were tortured by all offseason, saying, where's he going to go? He goes to the Niners, gets, I think, a little bit overpaid. Well, I would say very overpaid. And then he hurts his leg, and now he's gone for the whole season. They are down CMC. That's the big one. Jordan Mason has stepped up, but at some points, he has also had some injury issues, I think, this season. This is a team that is in a lot of trouble. They're now 3-4. This is a Super Bowl contender, by the way, that is 3-4. That can't be happening. And I didn't even bring up Jauan Jennings, who had a really good game. He didn't even play. They lost their rookie wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall. He got shot in the preseason. He finally came back. He actually, for coming back from that type of thing, he had a pretty good day, 3 for 21. I wasn't expecting much out of him, but I think they're going to be needing him to step up big time. Even like after that crazy injury that he went through after getting robbed, I think they're just going to feed this guy targets, and he's going to have some good numbers these next few weeks. Because what else do they have? You can't just throw it. They're not the same thing as the Kansas City Chiefs that can just spam Travis Kelce the whole game. The 49ers, in my opinion, have more weapons. They can do more. But all those weapons have disappeared. And I brought it up before. This team, and I think I talked about it before this game even happened. The Niners, this was honestly a must-win for them because here's their schedule coming up. Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. That's honestly a toss-up. The way the Cowboys are playing, maybe the Niners with all these injuries can do something. Bye week, a much-needed bye week, I would say. Tampa Bay, who also has some injuries we'll get to. Seattle, who they did beat. They beat them 36-24. Green Bay and Buffalo. That is a tough 5-game stretch for a 3-4 team that had expectations. And after that, and then 3 weeks after that, I guess you have the Bears, The Rams, who they lost to the LA Rams, by the way, who might be short a wide receiver. We'll get to that later. The Miami Dolphins, so who knows? Tua's going to be back possibly. After that, Detroit. This is an awful end of the season for a team that's just cursed. I'm at the point where I might be with you saying maybe they just punt this season. So many injuries. Maybe you're just like, yo, Christian McCaffrey, just get healthy. We'll just ride with Jordan Mason and see how it goes. Maybe if they don't do as well, maybe they get a good enough draft pick to get another weapon. Brock Purdy, this is probably one of his worst games. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, but I'll just say this, and I guess we'll get a little bit towards the game here. This game kind of sucked. Can I just say that? Like, it was a defensive first game, and the Chiefs side of things, Mahomes didn't even look that good.
He hasn't looked good all year.
Yeah, he has not looked good all year. I saw a graphic that came out yesterday. I think it was like a game. I think it was DraftKings. But Mahomes is still the betting odds favorite to win MVP. How?
It's Lamar now.
How at one point, like a day ago, was Patrick Mahomes the number 1 betting odds? I get it's Mahomes, but like this dude's been awful this year for Patrick Mahomes. This is his first season so far. He has more picks than touchdowns. 6 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. And this is a bad QBR for his standards. I know it's 9th in the league. He is a 61.2. That is not where Patrick Mahomes wants to be if you're Patrick Mahomes. I'll throw it back to you before I get even more into this. But, like, this game kind of didn't really live up to the hype.
I didn't hate watching this game, but it wasn't, again, the best. I mean, just watching these two teams clash it's always going to be fun. Super Bowl rematch. But, I mean, obviously the Niners won't be back in Super Bowl this year just because of, their injuries. I mean, they need Debo, they need CMC, they need a healthy Kittle. But I don't know. I didn't hate this game. I liked seeing Mahomes truck that dude in the end zone. That was kind of tough. But, I mean, as a guy who enjoys the Chiefs, I like seeing Mahomes win. I support Mahomes. But this game left me a lot of questions, and honestly, I think that this is just a bigger win for the Chiefs than anything. I mean, the Chiefs struggled to win this game, and they did everything they could. Their defense held them in this game easily. The Chiefs offense just really wasn't clicking at all throughout this whole game. They only scored 3 or 4 times. And it's just not the Chiefs offense we're used to seeing. I mean, Mahomes is just trying to make plays, but again, he just doesn't have the weapons. I think he's finally being able to use Travis Kelce again, which is nice to see. But I mean, Xavier Worthy isn't doing anything. You don't have Rashee Rice, you don't have Pacheco. It's tough for Mahomes, but then you look on the other side and it's tougher for the Niners. And then I think it's time to get back to the discussion. What is Brock Purdy without his big weapons? I don't think it's crazy to say that he's not that good without his absolute smokes of weapons. I mean, you look at guys like, I know if this is apples to oranges here, but look at Tom Brady. I mean, you put Brady on a team with, hooligans, and he's going to succeed. Brock Purdy, people think he's this amazing quarterback, which when his team's healthy, he can be. But, I mean, he just has so many handicaps on his team. But I think that's just a story for another day that I'm just not high on Brock Purdy when he doesn't have these weapons. I mean, sure, your team's hurt. I get it. But, I mean, he looks horrible without Debo and Ayuk. Horrible.
9 TDs, 7 interceptions for Brock Purdy right now. He has a 60.9 QBR. He's 11th in the league. He's behind Mahomes in that. But I will agree with you. I know there's been debates for years about Brock Purdy. Is he a system QB? He's just a system quarterback. He fits well in that system. And you know what? I like Brock Purdy. I want to believe in him, and I want to say, like, I will defend this guy. But I think we're going to see it this year where he needs weapons. I think he's a guy. He was drafted last. He's clearly the best QB in that draft class, though. The 2022 draft class, QB-wise, sucked. Like, Brock Purdy was the most, like, guy who panned out the most. He's already made the Super Bowl. But, like, look at the guys around him. He's performed well with those guys, but I think we're going to see this year a different type of Brock Purdy if the 49ers don't go out and do something at the trade deadline. I'm very curious what this team will do, say along the lines of the CMC issues, Debo Samuel's injury issues and illness issues. keeping George Kittle on the field, Jawan Jennings' injury issues, and now losing Brandon Ayuk, who you're paying. This is a team, and like, guess whose contract they're gonna have to do next? Brock Purdy.
Yeah, he's still on rookie contract.
I think someone commented it, and I agreed with this. I think it was on our TikTok. It was along the lines of they see like the 49ers as a team that will go out and spend the money on all these guys and not a lot of role guys. They go out and spend the money on the stars. They're not going to go out and spend the money on the players that they need to, like, I guess, complement those stars. You look at teams like, I don't know, like who to say it as, maybe like the Jaguars, for example. They're paying Trevor Lawrence like a star. The Green Bay Packers are paying Jordan Love like a star. Look at the wide receivers those guys have. None of those guys, in my opinion, are superstars. They're solid complements to a superstar. I know the Jaguars have a losing record. The Packers, for example, have a great record right now, I will say. Their wide receiver core is not paid that much, I don't think, at the top of my head. Like, you think of what they have. The Jaguars, what they have. They went out and got a Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, and like Brian Thomas Jr. Those are perfect complements for a star. The 49ers have the stars, but not a lot of compliments to those guys. You think, like, when you think of the 49ers, their second leading receiver like on Sunday was Jacob Cowing. I think is how you pronounce that. I've never heard of that name in my life. He's 23 years old. And honestly, like, I feel like a Gabe Davis would have fit well with this team if they went out to do that. But they spent a lot of time going out for a Brandon Ayuk, paying the big bucks for these guys. So this is a very interesting trade deadline and offseason coming up for the 49ers. Their season is not done. Don't get me wrong. They're a team that could save their season really quick because, you know, they're a Super Bowl candidate. They were before the season. I think you could still call them that whenever, like, if they get one piece right back, watch them just start winning games. I think they can beat the Cowboys this coming week the way the Cowboys have been playing this season.
I agree.
But I'm very curious to see, like, what they do with a lot of this money they spend. And I just wanted to bring up that comment because it makes a lot of sense. They used a lot of that. They used all the big bucks on their stars, not a lot of money on the role players. So that's that.
All right, let's get into the next game here. We have Ravens-Buccaneers. This is a interesting game, to say the least. I think more towards the end of it, but a lot of crazy stuff happened. Mike Evans caught his 100th career touchdown pass, and then later was going for his 101st touchdown pass, dropped it and pulled his hamstring and was ruled out for the game. Mike Evans was playing that whole game. They kept saying, "Oh, he's got an injured hamstring, but he's playing." Why are you playing him when, I mean, every time Baker targeted him, he would touch his hamstring? Like, that's just stupid. It's the same thing when Herbert played against the Steelers. Why are you playing guys in week 6 when you're 4-2 that don't need to be played? And then, I don't know. That was a stupid decision to even play Mike Evans. Lamar Jackson, though, balled the hell out. Lamar Jackson had some nice throws, right? He looked really good, and now he's the MVP frontrunner. Derrick Henry still looks like he's prime Derrick Henry, which I like to see because I'm a Derrick Henry fan, but I just hate that he's on the Ravens because I'm a Steelers fan. But put my bias aside, I love Derrick Henry. I love the way he plays football. I think he's one of the best running backs of our generation, and I think that this Ravens offense is scary. It's scary. Zay Flowers ran cardio for the whole game, only 11 yards from him all game, which was frustrating to watch. But, I mean, I guess when you're up that much, you don't really have to throw the ball. That's why, Derrick Henry and Lamar just kind of ate. But I think the biggest story from this game is 43 seconds left. Baker Mayfield drops back in the pocket, finds Chris Godwin over the middle, and Chris Godwin dislocates his ankle and is now out for the season. And a lot of people are questioning why he's in that game, why he's in the game at that point. I would like to tell those people to shut up. It's football. You play till the end of the game. They weren't losing by 35. You know what I mean? They were down 10, and if they scored, they were an onside kick away from getting the ball back and being able to kick a game-tying field goal. Like, they just got an onside kickback. I hate that narrative that people are trying to say, why is he even in the game with this? Dude, that's what they sign up for. That's what these athletes, they tie their cleats. They go out in the field. They are signing up for 60 minutes of football. You sign up for 60 minutes of football. I honestly, I don't care if you're losing by 20. You should be out there. But I get it to a point where it's like, okay, get the stars out. We're down by 20 in the fourth quarter. I get that, dude. They were down 10 with under a minute to go. We've seen it happen before. Like, it's stupid for that narrative to come out, but it sucks for the Buccaneers because now they lost their guy, and Mike Evans was the wide receiver 2 on this team so far this year. I mean, Chris Godwin's been one of the best receivers in the NFL this year, straight up. And now he's done. He's had the best year of his career thus far. And now Buccaneers are going to have to turn to whoever because their 1-2 punch, one of the best receiving cores in the NFL, is now going to be on the IR.
Man, I hate this so much. Just because, like, I agree with what you're saying about the injury stuff. It's football. It happens. I also get where it's coming from with the fan perspective, especially if you're a Bucs fan right now, because you're looking at the game. I don't know how many timeouts they had left. I wasn't watching it. I just saw like the news he got hurt, and they're down by 10 with that much time left. I get it from the anger perspective of a fan, especially a Bucs fan right now. I also get it from your perspective, but this Bucs team, they're now in the same situation as I just went off about the 49ers. They were on a high, 4-2. I had a feeling they were going to lose this game anyway, so I had them at 4-3 by now. But their wide receiver core, who is having a great year so far, Mike Evans, who you and I are both high on, Chris Godwin, who you and I are both high on, one of them is gone, and one of them is 50-50 with that hamstring. I don't even know what the Mike Evans news is going to be. Baker Mayfield is probably begging for a wide receiver right now. I don't think Baker Mayfield is the type of player to like beg like an Aaron Rodgers practically, which we have both went off about Aaron Rodgers. But Baker Mayfield's going to need some guys. He loves a guy like Cade Otton, but I don't think the Bucs are a tight end first type of team. Cade Otton's been great for the Bucs. I think he's a very underrated tight end. 8 for 100 last night on 10 targets. He led the way right in front of Chris Godwin, who had 9 targets. Rachaad White was the second leading guy with receiving yards, and that's your running back, who honestly has been very subpar this season, I would say. Chris Godwin is up next, and then probably your guy remaining, if Evans is on the IR, is Bucky Irving, who's also a running back, by the way. Like, they're going to need to make something work. And they're going to have to get a receiver really, really quick, especially if Evans is going on the IR. They're going to be missing Godwin. This is a team, and we'll get to it when we start talking about trade rumors. I think they're going to be in the mix for a lot of those guys. I think they need to go scour the free agent market right now. Hunter Renfrow is sitting right there, by the way. He's just sitting there. He's had a good year with Vegas. Yes, he's not a great wide receiver, but he's better than what they're going to have. This NFC South right now is the most wide open division in football. Yeah. We just talked about the Saints last week and their season being done. Just out of nowhere with this news, who knows? Maybe they can come back right into it because their offensive weapons look a lot better right now than the Bucs currently with this injury news. The Falcons honestly might be the favorite in this division. They might be winning it over the Bucs, especially if the Bucs do not make a move, because I trust Kirk Cousins with the guys he has more than Baker Mayfield with the guys he is going to have right now. The New Orleans Saints, the Derek Carr news, he might be out a little bit. That might be holding them back out of this division. The Panthers, they have no chance. But the Falcons, Bucs, and Saints, it's going to be a race now. I think the Bucs, honestly, were my favorite to win this thing. The NFC South, that is. But I think I might be changing that to the Falcons. I think the Bucs are in trouble. We'll get to the injury and trade stuff in a bit after our next game. But the Ravens side, I completely agree with you with Lamar being the MVP frontrunner right now.
He has to be.
5 touchdowns, no picks, QBR of 91.9, a rating of 158.1 last night. He had 52 rushing yards like you expect. You got Derrick Henry, who honestly I thought was going to get traded there last season. It just didn't happen. And when that didn't happen, I was like, he's going there in free agency. This is a fit. The O-line fits him. I know they haven't had the greatest start with the whole, I think it was their O-line coach that passed away in the offseason, and they had to figure something out quick, but they have regrouped. They have been able to fix that O-line, and it's given Lamar so much time in the pocket this season. We've seen more of his arm this season than the last couple ones, I would say. And this giving Derrick Henry a chance to almost have 200-yard games every single day. He's having 169 yards out of an aging Derrick Henry. Saw what he did weeks ago against the Bengals in that crazy game that I like to call maybe a game of the year candidate. You have Derrick Henry with 15 for 169, averaging 11.3 a rush. Derrick Henry is 30 years old. People like to say, and I'm one of those guys, that running backs are a really replaceable position. Once they hit their free agency years, they're probably about to, I guess, fall off. They're about to be like, hey, we're not going to be a solid option right now. Derrick Henry is at 134 carries in the NFL this year. He is first in carries. He is first in rushing yards with 873. He's first in touchdowns, by the way, 8. He's tied, and he currently ranks 43rd in the league, which honestly is for Derrick Henry standards. He's a power back. It's fine. I'm not really about that. He only has 6.5 a carry. That's still awesome to have. Derrick Henry is projected to be, his projected rushing stats, that is 2,120 yards on 325 carries. So far, with 134 carries, he's at 873. That ain't that bad. Last 5 games, he has 743 yards. This guy's a career 10,000-yard running back. This guy is awesome to watch. I think he's a guy with the I thought Tyreek Hill was going to be the runaway for Opoy. Without Tua, he needs a quarterback. My offensive player of the year has been Derrick Henry since the Tua injury news, because I don't think Tyreek Hill's getting it right now, the way he's been playing. Derrick Henry is the clear, in my opinion, AFC offensive player of the year. The way this has gone, he might have a career season with this Ravens team. And it's crazy to say he's in the 30s. That's supposed to be the age where running backs get replaced. And he's still doing this stuff. And then you brought up Zay Flowers doing cardio. The fact that he does cardio and a guy like Rashad Bateman is having a 121-yard reception game, having a touchdown. And let me get to this. Mark Andrews finally got to do something. 2 touchdowns last night. The one night I didn't want to do anything because in my one fantasy league, we have teams with your favorite team and then a team that's better than them or worse. So I have the Steelers and Lions. I was playing the guy who has the Ravens and Rams, and I was going to beat him. But, Mark Andrews all of a sudden finally decides to show up. So that was awesome. But you know what? It's good to see Mark Andrews getting some love. You don't want to give up on that type of guy. But like Derrick Henry has been very, very good. And like Nicholas just said, the Ravens are literally impossible to spot. If they get a field goal, it's a win if you're on the defense. Like, there's only a couple defenses that I think can give the Ravens an issue. So, and we'll get to the one defense after this because they're the one team we're going to talk about next. But like this Ravens team, I think they're better than the Chiefs. I'll say it. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs the way they've been playing. Mahomes has not been playing like Mahomes. Even though like I still trust a playoff Patrick Mahomes more so than a playoff Lamar Jackson based off of history. This Ravens team, I think they're the AFC favorites the way they're playing. I know people think they need another wide receiver. Why do you need another wide receiver when you're a rushing offense? It's clearly working. I get if you lose some guy to injury, but like the way Rashad Bateman's been playing, Justice Hill, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews looks like he's going to get some more. Zay Flowers has been off and on, but he's still Zay Flowers. I don't think the Ravens need much. I think they're already set in stone.
All right, you want to get to our next game here?
Yep, let's do it.
What a game this was. I was at this game. We're Steelers fans. Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets. What a game. Sunday night football, baby. And this was awesome to watch. Russell Wilson comes out of the tunnel. It's electric. One of the most electric football games I've ever been to in my life. And he starts off the game horrible, bad, very bad. Putting balls in the dirt. Looked horrible. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts going, Justin Fields. We want Justin. Everyone's chanting, we want Justin. We want Fields. We want Fields. And then after that chant, Russell Wilson started to cook. And I'll tell you why I'm so happy that we have Russell Wilson. No quarterback in Steelers history, not Kenny Pickett, not Justin Fields, not Mitch Trubisky, not Mason Rudolph, would just say, you know what? Screw it. George Pickens is down there somewhere. Ice. No one did that. And Russell Wilson does that. Russell Wilson goes, all right. You know what? We want Fields. Bet. All right. I'm gonna show y'all something. George Pickens, you want the ball? Go get it. Like, it was fun to watch. Like, it was in the stadium, and Russ would throw it up, and then you'd throw it to George, and then we wouldn't see the ball hit the ground, and then we'd see George. We're like, yo, George caught it. It was crazy. What a game, though. Russell Wilson looks unbelievable. And that's not even me being a Steelers bias here. He looked straight up phenomenal for the Steelers. I mean, he escaped the pocket, flipped his hips, made a guy miss, made a few nice throws. He was throwing the ball everywhere. He was throwing touchdowns. We put up 37 points. Oh my God. It was miraculous. The defense played really well, and Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams got spoiled. Davante Adams only had 3 catches. So much for this glorious connection that's coming back. Russell Wilson is him. He's the guy. He's him. And when we signed him, I said this. I said, listen, this is the guy that you want Justin Fields to learn under. This is the perfect guy. I mean, Russ's character is he's a good dude, and he's talked about it so much in the post-game interviews. He was like, I want to give all credit to Justin Fields. He gives credit to Fields because it's got to be tough on Fields. But God, man, what a game this was! Najee Harris again with another 100-yard game, and I'm going to get to another Najee Harris thing in a second. I think you know what I'm going to talk about.
I was going to bring this up.
Yeah. What a game for the Steelers offense. What a game for the Steelers offense, man. And we look like serious. I'm not even kidding. We look like contenders. If the offense can drop 37 points, this defense is going to hold everyone to under 20 points.
Let your inner Yinzer come out.
Like,
Steelers gone to Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're going to be nice with Russ. We're going to be fully nice. And I haven't been able to react like this to the Steelers in a long time because we
I
haven't
really
looked
hope
that
this
good
doesn't
in a long
age
time.
like fine wine.
It might age like milk.
I really hope nothing falls apart.
Yeah, so I'll say that, but this is a good game in total. I mean, you look at the Jets standpoint here because I don't want to just talk about the Steelers. Garrett Wilson had a really good game. He was open a lot, and he's getting open now that he's not getting the cornerback 1 treatment. Now that Davante Adams is there. But Rodgers, the offensive line for the Jets, they got smothered all game. But I don't know if that's more so of the Jets having a bad offensive line or the Steelers just being a unbelievable defense. And I'm just very excited for the future of Steelers football. I don't want to be too biased. And I don't want to spiel too much about the Steelers team, but I'll tell you what, Mike Tomlin made a right decision. All those losers in the Pittsburgh area who think that Mike Tomlin is an issue and Mike Tomlin needs to go. How about that? He made a right decision. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's not the right call." Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's go, Justin Fields. Let's go.
I think everyone knew. Like, I was going. Like, my opinion on it was, I think we all knew Russell Wilson was supposed to be the starter.
Mike Tomlin said that in the regular season.
He said it was supposed to be Mike Tomlin. Justin Fields is a great option to have, though. You know why I think they got Justin Fields? They want him to be the guy for the franchise.
Yeah.
Tomlin, and I can see that.
Perfect for that.
I can see that.
I
think NFL fans from outside the Steelers organization, a lot of them want Justin Fields to be the guy for the Steelers. I think it's a fine fit. I think it's a fun fit. And I, like Nicholas said in the chat, I also feel bad for Justin Fields. I get it. But Justin Fields in interviews even said he's humble enough to say he didn't play good enough. Even though he played really well, he was getting the team into the end zone. And they cracked 30 points against the Raiders last week. I mean, the Raiders aren't that good, but still, they cracked 30 points. Any other Steelers team is only cracking 20 points against that Raiders defense.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Justin Fields I was iffy on was his first half offense. And that was my biggest criteria with I want to see what Russ can do. Russell Wilson had 2 terrible drives. People were booing him.
Full bad.
I had a feeling people were going to start chanting, "We want Fields," because that's what they did with the whole "We want Kenny" thing when Mitchell Trubisky started out awful in 2022. And then the one drive happens. He throws a deep ball, 42 yards to George Pickens. George Pickens, I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I think when we talk about George Pickens, he needs to be involved more And I had a feeling he was going to thrive with a QB that can throw a good deep ball. The Russell Wilson deep ball has been one of the best ones in the league for years. People like to clown on Russell Wilson, Danny, and I get it. The Broncos thing didn't work. He still put up a pretty good TD to interception ratio last year. Don't get me wrong. But Russell Wilson's deep ball is one of the best in the NFL. It has been one of the best in the NFL since his Seattle Seahawks days. I remember I was talking to my uncle before the game. They were in visiting. My grandma was from Ohio. He said, "How are you feeling about Sunday Night Football tonight?" Because he was watching the Lions game. I was like, personally, I picked the Jets to win. We both picked the New York Jets to win, by the way. And I was like, it's going to be a typical 15-12 slugfest.
Yeah.
It's going to be an ugly football game. I don't think Russell's going to play well, but I think he's going to play good enough to keep them in it. I texted him after the game saying, Russell Wilson looked like prime Seattle Seahawk Russell Wilson. Like, he silenced a lot of haters, and I couldn't be happier for the guy.
Yep.
And I'm not even Aaron Rodgers yet, but Russell Wilson, yes, Justin Fields has the way better completion percentage right now. But here's the thing about the difference of their games. Russell Wilson's going to just chuck the ball down the field without caring anything about it.
Love it.
He's going to want to get this offense moving. 16 for 29, 264 passing yards. I thought he could have cracked 300 this game if some stuff different happened. 9.1 average, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Steelers still aren't turning over the football, so they're doing that very well. I think Fields only has 1 interception this season. I think at the top of my head, I think that's the only time the Steelers have turned over the ball pick-wise. I know there's been some fumble issues, but he only also got sacked once. The big thing was this O-line was not going to protect Russell Wilson. Can I just say this about the O-line last night or Sunday night? They had a surprising, really good game.
Very good. Very
There
good.
was a couple times people were going to say Russell Wilson can't escape the pocket. Yes, there were some plays where I was like, Justin Fields probably would have ran that for 20 yards.
Sure.
I think a lot of people, I can admit to that. Justin Fields would have ran for a touchdown a couple of those times instead of throw it away. Russell Wilson was able to get out a lot of that and just throw the ball away. That's why his completion percentage was kind of down that night. But like, he also had like I don't know if you saw the reporter asking about, she was like, the resiliency of Russell's QB sneak ability. Tomlin goes, it was just a sneak. It's a new Tomlin quote I really liked. But like, George Pickens finally cracked 100 yards. We've been waiting to see that. He hasn't done that, I think, since Kenny Pickett. Maybe once this year he did it. Like, even with Pickett, you saw him just chuck footballs down the field. We weren't really seeing that with Justin much. He likes to throw like the shorter passes. And yes, they're going for completions, but they need more chunks. It's the chunk plays. It is the splash plays. We as Steeler fans have been waiting to see a type of splash play. And you know what? Justin Fields allows the splash plays on his legs. Pat Freiermuth, 2 for 51. Russell Wilson loves tight ends. You know why? He loves the random guys. He had so many random tight ends in Seattle. Look at Darnell Washington last night, 4 for 36.
How about that?
Mount Washington is going to get usage. I have been a Mount Washington fan. That's his nickname, by the way, for anyone who's not a Steelers fan. I have been a fan of his since he was at Georgia. I was so excited for us to get a solid tight end behind Pat Freiermuth that was like 6 foot above. This guy is a beast.
This guy's he's like 6'8".
I got his autograph on a terrible towel. He's walking. I'm 5'6". I'm looking up at this guy like, holy crap, this dude is massive. Why wouldn't you use that? I know Justin Fields was using him a lot. That's one thing very secretly. People haven't been talking about this Arthur Smith offense. It's had a lot of complaints. I do love the usage of a Darnell Washington. You have a powerful tight end that can just stiff arm a guy. Remember those Vance McDonald plays they had a couple years ago?
Yep.
That dude was stiff arm the heck out of people. You saw Pat, like the tight end usage is being used throughout the season. Freiermuth already has multiple touchdowns this year. He was a guy that hardly got in the end zone before. They're going to use these guys. Najee Harris, back-to-back 100-yard games. Where did this come from? It's like he listens to the final whistle. Here's us talking crap. I'm like bringing up he had 6 before this. He now has 8. And we'll get to the Jets, I guess, now.
Hold on. Yeah.
You know what? You want to tell your story
I want
really
to
quick.
tell my story really quick.
Hell, this is great.
Speaking of Najee Harris, right? Let me say something right now. I know I've said a lot of things negative about Najee Harris on this show. I've said, okay, sometimes he runs like he's in jeans. But then at the end of those, I always say, but you know what? I believe in Najee Harris. I'm a Najee Harris fan. I support Najee Harris. And I like the guy, right? He's a good guy. That's what I thought. Young Danny Erb, getting ready to come back up to school. I say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop at a pizza shop near my house. I live in the Pittsburgh area. I walk into this pizza shop. I open the door. Oh my God, that's Najee Harris right there. He's looking at me. He's right there. He's sitting right next to the door. We are this close away. And so I look at him. I go, oh, Najee. Okay. All right. Okay. That is my running back right there. Okay. I go up to the window. I can't not think about, I'm not thinking about Najee Harris. I'm ordering pizza. I'm also like sweating. I'm like, oh my God, Najee Harris. I'm a fan, full fanboying. Like, this is my guy. I defend this guy. I like this guy. But I've also criticized Najee. I can't sit here and say that I haven't criticized Najee. I obviously have, but I love seeing him succeed. He's one of my favorite players just because I like how goofy he is and he seems like a good guy. That's what I thought. So I'm like, all right, like I'm not gonna make any trouble. I'm not gonna cause a scene here, but I do want to get a picture with Najee. I want to get a picture with Naj, or I at least want to like dap him up and be like, hey man, big fan. Like, hope you have a good game tomorrow, because this is on Friday. This is on Saturday,
Yep.
right? And so all I want to do is go, hey bro, big fan. Good luck tomorrow night. That's all I wanted to do, and maybe get a picture. That's all I wanted to do. So I get my 2 slices of cheese pizza. I was really hoping that he wasn't going to get his food before mine, because then I would have been like, oh no, like now I got to stop him when he has his food. So I didn't want to be a pest. And I don't like going up to celebrities. I never have. And this is haunted my experience even more with going after celebrities. And so I'm leaving the pizza shop, and keep in mind, he's sitting right next to the door, like on like a kind of a high top facing the door. And so I open the door and I look at Najee again and I go, you're Najee Harris. Like, and I was like this. I was like, yo, you're Najee Harris. And he goes, no, I'm not Najee. And I was like, oh, like this is not going well. And okay, I want to be honest. Like, don't even ask. Like, what if it wasn't Najee? This was Najee Harris. He drives a G-Wagon, and because I know this because he lives in my area. And I look outside and I go, okay, there's a G-Wagon. That's him. He talks like him. He had his dreads kind of tied up, and he had his beard. Talked like Najee. He's wearing a full gray sweatsuit, and then I got a picture of the guy, and then he goes, I get that like 8 times a day. I'm not him. But he was like this. He's like, yeah, I get that like 8 times a day. Like, no. And I go, dude, I'm pretty sure you're Najee Harris. And he goes, no. Like this. And I go, oh, okay. And I leave, and I'm heartbroken. I am heartbroken. All I wanted, Najee, was just for you to be nice to me, and for me to not even give me. Yeah, I wanted a picture. I was just gonna go, yo, you mind if I get a quick selfie? And I was gonna go like this, click, see ya, good luck tomorrow night. But no. What? I am now off the Najee Harris train. You know why? You don't treat your fans with respect, Najee. You don't. And seeing you score that touchdown on Sunday Night Football at the end of the game made me sick. You know why it made me sick? Because you jumped into the crowd with all your fans and you're like, oh, yeah. And now everyone's like, oh, what a good guy he is. He loves his fans. He doesn't love his fans. No. And I've heard a lot of multiple experiences from people that I know back home that have tried to say what's up to Najee, and he'll just pull his hoodie strings tight. I've heard he's done that. Or he'll just like shake people off. Dude, you're supposed to be our running back. You're a Steelers fan. You don't want to piss our fans off, and you've pissed me off as a fan. I am fully upset. Here he is. In case anyone's questioning, that's the picture I took leaving the pizza shop. That's Najee Harris, dude. That's him. And he disrespected me. All I was trying to do is be nice and maybe ask for a picture. I get if he was like, hey man, I appreciate the support, just not taking pictures right now. I would have been fine with that. Don't lie to me and be like, no, I'm not Najee Harris. No, I'm not him. I get to like 8 times a day. Like, dude, I know I'm a fan. I know your voice. I know what you look like. You're 6'5" in a pizza shop with a bunch of 6-foot people. Like, you know what I mean? What an ass, honestly, dude. I'm very disappointed because I was a big Najee Harris fan. Very big Najee Harris fan. And then he goes and he pulls that. He pulls that. And you know what's crazy? The day before that happened, actually the same day that happened, I was going down to the Steelers Pro Shop because I was going to the game, and I was like, okay, we're in the block letters. I'm gonna get a block jersey. I was gonna get a Najee block jersey, but then I decided to get a TJ Watt block jersey. Imagine if I would have got that jersey. I would have been like, dude, nice. I just got this guy's jersey, and he's a prick. Like, I mean, I'm so. But I've said this though to all my friends because I want to like Najee. I want to like him. He needs to either give me a 2-touchdown game or a game-winning touchdown for me to be back on the Najee. Until then, my Najee Harris jersey is not on my jersey rack.
Or take a picture with you at like the Ross Park Mall or something.
Look at all these jerseys right here. Look at all that.
Oh, I see him.
Najee Harris is not on that rack as of right now. He's not. He is on the floor. He's the only jersey on the floor.
I got a Najee one somewhere in the closet.
Throw it away. That's what Nicholas said. I get that it can be annoying being talked to in public, but dude, if you're starting the NFL, running back, making millions, at least you can do is take a flick with a fan. Come on, Najee. Dude, exactly, bro. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And dude, like I've heard people be like, "Oh, what if it isn't Najee, bro?" I've never been so sure this was Najee Harris in my life. Like, because I would not have said anything if it was 99% that was Najee, I wouldn't have said anything. But it was 100% Najee. And then going back on it, you always think, well, what could I have done differently? I think what I would have done differently is after he said, no, I'm not Najee, bro. I get that 8 times a day. I would have been like, oh, okay, man. I was just gonna say I'm a really big fan, but I guess I guess, and then like walk away, be like, I don't know, man. I guess that's all right. Never mind. But that's my spiel on Najee Harris. What a loser, honestly. What a loser.
Great.
So,
what a story.
Yeah, that's my story of the week. I met one of my favorite athletes. And
biggest loser of the week.
Yeah, loser of the week, Najee Harris. Pack watch of the week, Najee Harris. That he, if we were gonna do losers of the week, which we're not doing this episode, I would have for sure put Najee Harris in my losers of the week. Actually, I would have done 5 losers of the week, all 5 Najee Harris.
All 5 Najee Harris.
And then winners of the week would have just been Russell Wilson, George Pickens, and everyone I love, because I know Russell Wilson would have gave me a damn hug.
Yeah,
he
Russell Wilson was just at the Children's Hospital.
Yeah, dude.
He's been going there as a bench player.
I'll tell you what, man. He's one of them dudes, man, where when the cameras are on, he's smiling, all this, and when the cameras are off, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
People hate Russell Wilson. This dude's like a Walter Payton Man of the Year for a reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If that was Cam Hayward would have probably took a pick with you.
Cam Hayward, yeah, exactly.
That's Walter Payton Man of the Year, Cam Hayward.
And looking at Najee, you'd think that he's such a jolly guy and he'd be so willing to take a picture. No, So I'm officially on the Najee hate train from now on. And I'll say this, Najee, if you're watching this, which I know you are, and I hope you do watch this. Next time I see, and it's crazy. This is also kind of crazy. Then the same night, I had a dream about the situation again. And in this dream, Najee took a picture with me and he was like, oh man, my bad. But then I woke up and I was like, oh man, that wasn't real. So Najee, if you're watching this, and you should be watching this, you broke my heart and you lost a fan.
You broke little Danny's heart.
You broke my heart, Naj. And man, it's sad. So that's my spiel on Najee Harris. I know that took a while, but
that's
good
great.
Story.
You know what? To save time, I'll just keep it short about the Jets. What I was gonna say. This team sucks. That's all I got to say about the Jets.
Okay, yeah.
They've
got to figure it out.
Aaron Rodgers, you're
trash. Davante
trash.
Adams went from 2-5 on the Raiders to 2-5 with his friends.
Davante Adams has lost to the Steelers 2 weeks in a row, by the way. I know he didn't play it with the Raiders, but he lost 2 in a row.
Him with the Giants so he can lose 3 in a row.
I think he went to the wrong team. Did you see the picture of Najee? I know you don't like him anymore. Pickens and Russell all laughing on the sidelines.
Made me sick. I'm serious. When I see Najee now, I get sick because I love the guy. I used to love him. And now I see him happy, and it makes me upset because I don't want to see him happy now. I want to see him sad. Tough. Now, I'm not saying I would never wish an injury upon him. No, I want him to stay healthy for his whole career, but I don't like seeing him happy anymore. Okay? Because you made me upset, Najee. You made me frown in my car and question my life decisions. NFL, there's a few more things we got to talk about. There's a lot of injuries that went down in the NFL.
Yeah, we'll go rapid fire with this because we got Cooper Kupp stuff.
A few season-ending injuries. And there's one that happened in the early o'clock windows that a lot of people were talking about.
Deserve to be talking about.
Deshaun Watson took a
Now-
step and tore his Achilles. It was gross to watch. I mean, you saw his
Yeah.
whole Achilles pop. Now, obviously, if you watch our show, you know that you know me at least. I hate Deshaun Watson. I wish bad things upon Deshaun Watson, but I would never wish something like
I
that
agree.
upon Deshaun Watson. So I want to clear that up. I'm definitely not happy that he is injured and has tore his Achilles. That is obviously a horrible injury, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. But bad injury, and Cleveland fans cheered when Deshaun Watson got hurt. That just talks about the class of Cleveland fans
Yeah.
and why they are like the way they are. So shout out Cleveland fans. You're all losers.
I'll
So,
say this as well. I agree with you. I'm not a big Deshaun Watson guy. He's a terrible person. He's
yeah.
a bum. But like, I'm not going to be there cheering for an injury because I want to see some competition with teams. I want to see the Steelers play. Like the Browns, we play them twice a year. I want to see them bring their best. And
Well,
I guess on the
now
roster,
they
like,
have a better chance of winning.
yeah, they got Bailey Zappi, Jameis Winston, and DTR, who honestly,
Jameis.
I like DTR. I mean, DTR has been a solid guy for them. He's beat the Steelers before, by the way. DTR
Yep.
beat them last year,
Played
and
the
I wouldn't be
Kings
shocked.
first
But
ever.
like Jameis Winston, I've been preaching it. Free Jameis Winston. I'm fine. Like I hate to see the inner like human in me loves to see Deshaun Watson go out, but the fan in me is like I don't want to see him go out that way.
Sure.
Like it's just interesting to see him crying off the field. Which you know what? That's the type of injury that could be like a season. It is a season ending, but most of those guys, some of them don't come back from that. And I think he's like his contract's guaranteed. By the way, it's a guaranteed contract. The Browns are paying him all that money. You don't like to see him go down that way. I would have rather him got benched, but like leave it up to the Browns fans cheering for him. I don't know. You saw the Barstool clip, the guy in the crowd giving him a standing ovation.
Yeah,
I was watching the game. I was like, oh, he's down. I just hear cheering in the other room, and it's the TV.
I know immediately. I thought it was an ACL or an Achilles. Because I mean,
it's an Achilles, I think.
Yeah, it was. But
That's
I
what
mean,
Kirk
right
Cousins
away,
had.
I didn't know. It was right away. I mean, he took a step and then just went down. Non-contact injuries are obviously the worst in sports. It sucks. But Browns now got to figure it out. But they just got Nick Chubb back, so
which is good. He got a touchdown.
Yeah,
love to see that. Even though I hate the Browns, you love to see a guy like Nick Chubb do that, especially coming off that injury. It was like a year ago at that day.
Another injury. Moving on from that is DK Metcalf has an MCL sprain, I believe. And I think he's going to be week to week, but doubtful to play, I think, next week, which sucks because I'm a big DK fan.
Yeah.
Brandon
Ayuk's out for the season.
Brandon Ayuk is
Chris
out
Godwin's
for the year.
out for the we talked about Godwin and Ayuk already with the Niners and Bucks spiels, but those two teams can't afford those. Especially the Niners just paid Brandon Ayuk.
Another big injury.
This is a wild week for injuries.
Yeah, very bad. And then Jaden Daniels with a rib injury exits the game, doesn't come back. Marcus Mariota, that's my guy. I'm a big Marcus Mariota guy. Came in and dropped a 40 bomb on the Panthers dome piece.
You know what's good about Daniels though? He'll be fine because he came right back out, and you know why he didn't even have to play. It was a blowout anyway. They were gonna whoop the Panthers. I think at the time he only played 2 snaps, and then he had the rib injury.
Yeah.
But like he came out all smiles, wearing the hoodie. He's going to be week to week, but like he'll probably play the Steelers in a few weeks because that's 2 weeks from now. They have that bye after the Giants. So I'm expecting Russ versus Jaden Daniels.
So let's what did Nicholas say here? Do y'all think IU shows up facility with the ski mask on? Yeah, robbery. He did fleece them for real.
He wasn't even putting up good numbers.
No, he was horrible this year so far. Chris Godwin, we already covered that injury and the Mike Evans injury. A lot of bad injuries. A few season-ending injuries this week.
This is a tough week.
Sucks to see. Sucks for fans. Sucks for fantasy owners. Obviously, sucks for the players the most. And then this happened today. We got a little bit of a breaking news that happened per se here. Let me pull up our
a new WR rumor.
Yep, we got a new rumor. And
which honestly it makes sense with their issues.
Sure. Cooper Kupp is now getting traded. What? Why? ML football replaced this. The Chiefs are the strong Vegas favorites to trade for Cooper Cup. I believe that ML football did report this earlier today that where's the first one?
It
This
was
guy's
Deanna Rossini
spamming.
who did it first.
The Rams are here. It is. The Rams are open to trading All-Pro receiver Cooper Cup. Steelers, Chiefs, and Eagles are your front runners. Of course, we are the front. Of course, us and the Chiefs are the front runners every goddamn week. I swear, every few weeks, it's another receiver is going to get traded to the Steelers. I'm so sick of this, dude. I couldn't be bothered less, honestly. And I'm a guy who doesn't even think Cooper Cup is that nice. He gets force-fed targets, bro. Like, that's why he's that nice. And I don't know. I mean, I think Russ would be a guy to feed him targets, but
he can run routes very well.
Very good route runner. But I don't know if this is a guy that I would.
The Steelers need a route runner.
I think there was a mock trade I saw. Beanie Bishop in a 2nd-round pick for Cooper Cup. Absolutely not. You're not getting Beanie Bishop after the game he had against the Jets, 2 interceptions.
Well, they won a 2nd-round pick at least.
Yeah.
Second or a third.
I'll give a second.
And here's the thing: they're saying they're going to eat the contract, the majority of it. I don't know if you saw that.
What?
Because his contract's pretty good. I guess.
Why are they even going to trade him? Rams are still in a Super Bowl window. When they have Kyron Williams, Puka, and Cooper Cup and Stafford, that's still a Super Bowl contending team. That's a damn good offense. And I don't know why they would be open to trading Cooper Cup unless he's requested to trade himself, which I doubt because Cooper Cup seems like a really good guy.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't understand where this is coming from.
Can I say this about Cooper Cup?
Sure.
I think a team would love to have him because he's a no BS and drama type of wide receiver. He's going to be there. He's going to mean business. The issue with getting a Cooper Cup is his injury issues.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing with injury issues I like to put into like a perspective. Do those injuries happen on other teams? Who knows? Like Brandon Ayuk, I don't want to use him as an example, but who knows? If he's a Steeler right now, he's probably still playing. Cooper Cup, on the other hand, has some issues. He does have a triple crown. You know me. We've talked about it for years. I'm a big Cooper Cup guy. I don't know why the Bucs aren't on that list. There is no reason the Buccaneers should not be on the list. I told you before this, he's a fit. Yeah. They need a wide receiver. I don't understand the Eagles. People are saying they don't need no one. They're already fine. I think the Steelers and the Chiefs make the most sense. The Steelers are 5-2. And look at the gauntlet that they have at the end of the season. They need weapons. Yep. I know they had a great game, but if you want Russ or Fields to have some more weapons to use and stay good, with as little bias as possible, the Steelers need him. Like, he's better than Mike Williams. I'll say that personally. But, like, I don't know if the Rams really have to trade him, but, like, this is the new wide receiver of the week that's going to get dealt, I guess. Honestly, if they're already taking calls, I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers and Omar Khan already made a call. I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs already made a call. The Ravens are probably in the mix as well. They probably want another wide receiver. I don't think they're really a fit. But the Buccaneers, I completely agree. The Bucs, and I'll keep saying it, the Bucs have to be in the mix. They lost Godwin. Baker Mayfield wants a weapon. Mike Evans, hamstring issues. Cooper Kupp has some injury issues, yes, but you know what? I think Baker would also feed him. Nicholas brought up in the chat, Mahomes would also feed Cooper Kupp. Like, Cooper Kupp is a great guy, I think, to take some of the pressure off of George Pickens in Pittsburgh as well. I think if I'm giving my top 3 teams, and I got 2 of the 3, I guess, right with the Jets. I had Steelers, Jets, Commanders. If I had 3 fits for Cooper Kupp, it would probably go Bucs number 1, Chiefs 2, Steelers 3. Just because I think the Chiefs are going to be desperate. But you know what? The Chiefs are somehow doing it without Rashee Rice. Maybe they just stay how they are. I don't see them standing pat like that, but like, I don't know. I think the Chiefs might be set in stone with what they got. They're making it work somehow. The Bucs, I think, are the best fit for them. Who wouldn't want to go play in South Florida? Who wouldn't want to go play in Florida, for example? Imagine going from LA to Florida. I think those are 2 solid destinations to go live at, personally. I don't think he'd want to. I don't think he had a problem. He would have a problem with going to a Kansas City or Pittsburgh because he just seems like a guy that doesn't give a crap where he goes. He just like football first. You know what? I like that about him the most. I haven't seen any issues out of Cooper Kupp ever. He doesn't have drama issues. He already has a ring. Just go ride out your career with another team. It's fine. If the Rams are willing to pay for half, like a majority of his contract, or even like bring on salary, I think like they have to make the trade. I think any team would be stupid not to make this trade. Yes, it's going to take a second round pick, but like if I'm the Steelers, Chiefs, or Bucks, I'm using that second round pick on the Cooper Kupp trade personally. So those are my three teams. Like Nicholas just brought up the Chiefs' schedule. I don't see them losing more than like one game, maybe the Bills.
It's
crazy. Their team looks worse than last year, but they're still undefeated. It's just the Kansas City Chiefs. They do it. And Mahomes isn't even having his typical Mahomes year. And I want to show you a meme I just saw. Like while I pull this up, and you'll see me try to present it or whatever. But like, do you have three teams on your mind that you think are the places?
Yeah, I think Buccaneers would be a great fit. I obviously think the Steelers would be cool. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers probably wants someone on the Jets because they lost another week, and it can't be his fault. There's no way it can be Aaron Rodgers' fault, right? So he definitely needs someone else because, but no, in all seriousness, another team. I don't think the Eagles definitely crazy need someone, but the Chiefs possibly. I'll pull up what you have here.
I love this. But here's the original tweet about Diana Rossini. I can't really scroll up or not. It's not letting me, but it's basically Rams called multiple teams about it. Rams have indicated willingness to take on some of the 24 salary and are seeking a second round pick. That's what they want.
I do it. All right. Want to get into our top 5 Tuesday?
Let's do it. We got a lot to do. We're almost at an hour. This is a power hour we got coming up.
Top 5 Tuesday. Here we go.
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
Because mine's kind of short. Like I didn't put any stats or anything on it.
I did. All right.
No one knows what we're doing yet. We never announced.
Top 5 duos.
Made it up last night.
Top 5 duos in the NFL and the NFL history. I've got a few solid ones here. I've got a few trolls as well. Let's get into it. Number 5.
We got news. First, sorry to break some news. Mike Evans injury update out until after week 11 bye. Just wanted to say that. So they better go get Cooper Kupp. Sorry to cut you off.
Go get him. Top 5 duos in NFL history. Number 5. Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. I think this could be top 10. I really don't think this is top 5. This is my list, so I don't really care. These guys dominated the NFL from 2010 to 2018. This was the best duo for those 8 years. They would have been the best duo for longer than that, but AB spazzed out. 837 receptions and 11,000 yards, 74 touchdowns in just the regular season together. AB led the NFL in receptions for 2014, 2015, receiving yards in 2014, 2017. I mean, this was a crazy duo, I'll tell you what. And it's sad that it didn't finish. They never won a ring together. I think they would have if a lot of stuff didn't play out the way it did. If Jesse James catches that ball, a lot of stuff. This is just a great team. Man, it sucks to see AB and Ben. They were special. Number 4, Antonio Brown and CTE. This is a great duo. One of the most unpredictable duos in NFL history. CTE and AB. They mixed pretty well. AB's career trajectory took some wild turns. He quit mid-game. He had some social media meltdowns. Went on Facebook Live in the Steelers locker room. All this stuff. His helmet drama. Despite the chaos, he still managed to rack up 7 Pro Bowls and 4 All-Pro selections after getting CTE. The duo of AB and CTE were responsible for AB's exit from the Steelers. When AB went on Facebook Live with the Steelers, then started saying how he hates Ben Roethlisberger and all this stuff. Then when he went to the Raiders, got his feet frozen off, then said he doesn't like his helmet, then went to the Patriots with Tom Brady, didn't really do much there, and then went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, took his shoulder pads off, and you can see it right there, hit the peace sign on the field. Antonio Brown and CTE are a legendary duo. of all time. Coming in at number 3, Josh Gordon and Weed. Possibly the most unstoppable duo of all time off the field. Josh Gordon was a great wide receiver and couldn't seem to stay away from his partner here. Together, they racked up 6 suspensions related to substance abuse, with Weed being the star of the show. Despite their cloudy relationship, Josh Gordon led the NFL in receiving yards in 2013, even missing 2 games. Every time Josh Gordon came back, Weed was there to pull him right back out of the league, just like a toxic relationship that just won't quit. Josh Gordon created the famous catchphrase, suspended indefinitely. That was always a thing. Josh Gordon suspended indefinitely. His last suspension came in 2021, but Weed's legacy and his career will never fade away. So Weed and Josh Gordon are one of the best duos in NFL history. Number 2, now they're getting kind of serious. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. They won 4 Super Bowls. I mean, it's tough to say this isn't the best duo in NFL history. A lot of people would say this is number 1. They were so different. All-time leader in postseason touchdowns for a QB and tight end combo ever. They had great chemistry. I mean, in clutch time, you knew Brady was going to Gronk. I mean, Brady and Edelman were also a great duo. Number 1, best NFL duo of all time. Again, it's another serious one. Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. Most completions and touchdowns for a quarterback wide receiver duo in NFL history. 8 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns for Marv. These guys were the best. This is just the best duo in NFL history. And Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison they were like that together. Very good. Danny and Najee Harris duo now. Nice. Do you like my list?
Yeah, I'll say this. I wasn't expecting a lot of the joke ones, but you know what? I'll bring this up. We did what ifs last week. Josh Gordon's one of the biggest what ifs in NFL history.
Sure.
That dude was a straight beast where he was, no matter where he was. I think it was mainly Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's a big what if, in my opinion. This guy was awesome to watch.
Yeah. All right. You have yours ready to pull up?
I'll do it really quick.
All right, here's the stage here.
Yeah, mine's gonna go full screen, so I'm gonna disappear from seeing your reactions. So,
all right, you're up.
Okay. My top 5. My criteria, if anything, is I must remember actually watching them. And I'll say this: you had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison.
Did not remember watching them.
I had them at number 2 in my original one, even though they're the best one in history. Yeah. But it's I was probably in kindergarten when Peyton Manning was balling out with Marvin Harrison. So I wanted to be these are my prime. This is what I enjoyed watching football.
Sure. It's respectable.
Number 5, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Now I don't have stats, so I'll just free yap about this stuff. It's self-explanatory. They're in the middle of their dynasty right now. I know they're both having a down year, but when I'm thinking NFL from my time watching as a fan, this is going to be something people are telling future generations about. The Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be talking about the New England Patriots as those 2 teams that basically own their entire childhoods, their teenage years. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce basically owned my late high school to college years. That's practically what this is. Tom Brady and Gronk and all those guys owned elementary school, junior high, high school. Who owned my college life? These 2 guys. So that's why they're number 5. They have the rings. I think each of them have 3, if I'm not mistaken. Probably going to get 4, probably going to get 5, maybe 6. Who knows? But yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4, the Legion of Boom.
Sure, very good.
Chancellor Earl Thomas. This is the secondary that people were scared of. This was the secondary that made the Seahawks known as the Legion of Boom. Yes, they had a guy like Bobby Wagner in the middle as a middle linebacker.
Richard
but
Sherman,
these 2 guys people were scared of. You didn't want to play these guys. These guys should both have 2 rings if they ran the ball. They at least have 1. It's fine. But these are guys, people love the Seahawks. The Seahawks were the bandwagon team of yesterday.
That's why Nicholas was a fan of them.
Yeah. I would see so many people around the area wearing a Russell Wilson Seahawks jersey that knew nothing about the Seahawks. You know why? This is such a bandwagon team. But you know what? They were a respectable bandwagon team. And a lot of the guys that loved the Seahawks then and went on that bandwagon are still fans today. They're a very loyal fan base, and these 2 guys serve that fan base very well. I think a lot of that, like that offense gets a lot more respect, but like this is the one Super Bowl winning team where a lot of it was like in our time watching the NFL, it was like, man, that defense was good. It's like the first thing you think about. It's like the most notable defense, the Legion of Boom. You still talk about it today. So that's why they're number 4. Oh, here we go. Number 3, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Man, I love these guys. They're funny. Watching them as Steelers fans, I know they both fizzled out. Le'Veon Bell had the issues. I have my own issue with Le'Veon Bell. He liked the hate comment I gave him. I think I told you that before.
There you go.
AB is AB. These guys are beasts on the field. I could honestly put the killer bees in general. Ben, Bell, Brown, Boswell, you could even throw in there. But that's a group of 4. It's supposed to be a duo. These two are dynamic playmakers. Everyone loved them. Number 84, number 26. These were, besides Big Ben, the 2 jerseys you would see at a Steelers game. The 2 jerseys you would see at school. These were the jerseys people wanted. You wanted an Antonio Brown jersey. You wanted a Le'Veon Bell jersey. I have a Bell jersey somewhere in my house. But, like, then you see all this stuff this past week, and these 2 dudes are hanging out with Donald Trump. Like, that was hilarious stuff to see. Like, these 2 guys are still hanging out all the time. They're both having they're going on those side quests, I like to call them. I think Bell's in the U.S., like in a boxing match coming up, or he has boxed. He raps. AB's been a rapper. Yeah, they both may have CTE issues, but they're just funny. These are just the guys. It's like they're having fun in life. Yes, they both have some issues. AB has a lot of issues, but it's like they're going on the random side quest. So that's my number 3. Sticking with the Steelers, though, for this next one, Big Ben and AB.
Yeah.
I loved it. I like take Le'Veon Bell out of that equation. These 2 guys, this was the connection. This is the connection people want with a QB and Justin Fields if you're a Steelers fan. Not Justin Fields. If this is what you want, if a QB out of George Pickens, if you're a Steelers fan of today. This is what us Steelers fans had in our childhoods. This was just fun to watch, like prime 2017, 2016, 2015. This was the teams you wanted to watch. Big Ben, AB, those deep balls down the field, those were just fun. And sadly, they don't have a ring for it. It kind of sucks. Number 1, though, you had it. Tom Brady and Gronk. They have so many rings together. And you know what's even better? Gronk went to Tampa Bay after retirement to go back and play with Tom Brady. These guys are like BFFs. They're still friends today. I saw it was like the Fanatics Fest. They were just signing cards going around the place. Like Gronk was like, he just loves hanging out with them. He loves hanging out with Tom Brady. I think they're both working for Fox right now. I think Gronk's in like the studio and Tom Brady's the commentator or whatever. This is one of like the greatest duos of all time. This is one of the greatest duos of our generation, probably the last decade, you could say as well. If not the best of the last decade. They did it with Tampa. Well, they did it with New England 6 times. They did it with Tampa once. Like, these guys are awesome. These guys are the duo, I think, is a standard for a top tight end and top quarterback duo. And Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, I think forever will live under the shadow of this duo, but have the potential to pass it. Don't get me wrong, but like this is a duo hard to replace. So those are my guys. Those are my top 5 duos.
All right. We've got one more topic before we end the show. We're gonna get into NBA for the first time this year. First time on the final whistle. We're gonna yap about NBA. This is I'm a big NBA guy. Nate's getting into NBA. Magic fan. Obviously, I'm a Raptors fan. If you can't tell. But NBA starts today. We got Lakers playing the Timberwolves and the Celtics playing the. They play the Knicks.
Nicholas just said Tua and concussions robbed.
Yeah. Yeah, Celtics, Knicks, Timberwolves, Lakers. It's going to be two good games, 2 very solid games. I think the best one's going to be Celtics and the Knicks today. I don't know about you, but
I'm reading the chat. I'm sorry. Yep. Here it comes. The glaze of LeBron. Okay, CR, you can continue.
I mean, if we want to get into it, I'll get into LeBron. But
please no.
Obviously, the greatest athlete of all time. But Lakers play the Timberwolves. I'm going to take the Lakers in this matchup. I just think that the Knicks and the Timberwolves, 2 teams that did a monumental trade this offseason. Obviously, I don't know why I just brought that up. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns was traded for Dante DiVincenzo, and that kind of shook the whole NBA world up a little bit. There was a lot of stuff that happened this offseason. Paul George is a Sixer now. A lot of crazy stuff happened this NBA offseason. I'm sure we could recap that another day, but yeah, I don't know who you're gonna pick for Knicks Celtics. I'm gonna go with the Celtics here. They're coming off a championship, and I just don't think that the Knicks, Mikal Bridges has been playing pretty bad for them. They signed him in the offseason, and I think Cat's not ready to adapt yet. So this is a starting five that doesn't have the chemistry that the last starting five had in New York, and they kind of won a lot of games through the power of friendship. But no one's beating the Celtics team. This is the best team in the NBA right now, and they're going to be for a long time just because of how deep they are. And, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both top 10 players in the NBA, which is it's just going to be tough to beat. So I think Celtics come away with this game. Then going to Lakers Timberwolves, the other game today, I'm also going to go with the Lakers. Again, this is not me being a LeBron fan. They don't have Karl Anthony Towns. It's the first time the Timberwolves have not had him in a very, very long time. So I don't know how they're gonna play. We haven't seen Ant play without Cat, and I don't know. I think the Lakers are more rejuvenated than the Timberwolves. Dalton Knecht, obviously the rookie for the Lakers. I think he's gonna ball. He's gonna have a great year. He was the best player in college basketball last year, in my opinion, on Tennessee. He was a stud. Do you have picks for these games?
Yeah, I'll go quick with these ones. I'm gonna go. I wanted to pick the Knicks tonight. I'm really high on the Knicks this year, and we'll get to that in playoff predictions, our top 8 or whatever. I'm going to take the Celtics and Timberwolves, though. I really like the Timberwolves a lot this year. I think they're going to be good even without Cat. They replaced Cat with a big guy in Julius Randle, who people think is going to be a big addition for that team. That was a trade that came out of nowhere, by the way. Was not expecting that at all. They also still have Rudy Gobert. They play a lot of good defense. Anthony Edwards, I am really high on Ant-Man, like to call him. Anthony Edwards, I think, is an MVP candidate as well. This guy's going to be a beast out of the West. If not this year, he's going to win at some point in his career. But I'm going to go tonight, Celtics T-Wolves.
Yep. All right, let's get into more of a prediction for the year going on. Let's do our kind of a. You want to do a team that's going to be a sleeper, and then a kind of go through our predictions. We can talk about who's going to win each division here.
So do you want to? We go in division by division?
Yeah,
or conference by conference. Because I know in NBA, I know the divisions don't matter.
Yeah, not really
that much. Like you get a division champion, but they're not even guaranteed a good playoff spot.
Yeah,
which honestly, it's fine. I'm fine with it. But let's go conference by conference. I know you'll have a lot more stuff than me, so we could do like sleeper team, then our top 8s, I guess.
Atlantic Conference, I'll tell you what, this is as a Raptors fan, this is the hardest conference in the NBA right now. You got the Celtics, Knicks, and Sixers, so we're full cooked. I'll say that right now as a Raptors fan, this is going to be a rough season for me to watch. We kind of have to rely on the power of friendship if we want to win, but yeah, Celtics are winning this division easily.
If we're doing it that way, you know what? The Celtics are gonna win this. I'll do more so my division predictions, kind of with like the playoffs. But yeah.
All right. The Eastern Central is Bulls, Cavs, Pistons, Pacers, Bucks. A lot of solid teams in here. You got the Pacers, Bucks, and Cavs. I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this division.
I'll go Cavs as well. You know what? No, I'm gonna go Bucks. Giannis and Damian. Where can you go wrong with that?
I just think the Cavs are a deeper team, and I don't know. Giannis has been hurt.
I think the Bucks are also coming off a year where they had very high expectations they didn't live up to, especially with Damian Lillard. I think they're
don't sleep on the Pacers. We can't sleep on the Pacers either.
Oh yeah, the Pacers are awesome.
They were good.
Pacers were really good. I love that. They brought in your guy Siakam.
Yeah.
Shout
out Spicy P.
Tyrese
Halliburton's a dog. Miles Turner's an amazing center. Shout out Miles Turner, 5 rebounds every game. The Southeast Division, the Hawks, Heat, Magic, Wizards, Hornets. The Heat's going to win this division again. They're going to clean this up.
I'll go Magic. They won it last year.
Magic fan.
I'll say it, and that's not even about they won it last year. Yeah. I think the Magic have a solid roster. I think
they do. They spent a lot of money. Spent $685 million.
Is, I think, one of the most underrated players in the NBA. You know why he doesn't get a lot of respect? He's on the Orlando Magic. Yep. He's on a small market team. Franz Wagner. Both the Wagner brothers. You got Mo Wagner off the bench. He's been good. They brought in KCP, who's going to be a very solid role guy. Wendell Carter's off and on. They just signed Jalen Suggs to the rookie max yesterday. That one came out of nowhere. I was kind of curious about that one, but I'll go with the Magic for Southeast.
Western Conference is getting to this now. The Nuggets, Timberwolves, Blazers, Thunder, Jazz. This is a very good division. I'm gonna go with the Thunder to win this division. I think it's gonna be them and the Nuggets battling, but I think the Thunder they're gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I'm going Timberwolves.
Okay.
I'll say Timberwolves. I think the Wolves are gonna be good this year.
All right. Pacific region will be the Warriors, Clippers, Lakers, Suns, and Kings. I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Lakers to win this division. Shout out Braun.
I forgot the Clippers rebranded.
Yeah.
It's weird looking at that logo.
So ugly.
I'm gonna go with the Suns. Might shock a lot of people. I'm gonna go Phoenix.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. And then last division, Pelicans, Mavs, Rockets, Spurs, Grizzlies. I'm gonna go with the Mavs to win this division.
I'm gonna agree with you very easily though. Magic. Not Magic, Mavs.
Mavs, yeah, they're good. They got Klay Thompson, who's been horrible, but hopefully they can ball out with Luka and Kyrie. All right, so now we've got through that. Do you want to pick who's your sleeper team of the year?
Can I give one East and West?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'll start with the West. Sleeper team of the year. Honestly, I think they're a team that a lot of people aren't really high on this year. I know I've already talked. I like the Timberwolves.
Okay.
I don't think they get a lot of respect. I feel like people have them finishing as a 4 or 5 seed, not like a 1, 2, 3. I have them up there in the 1, 2, 3s. I think they're going to blow a lot of people's expectations out of the water. I think they have potential maybe to win the West. I don't think they will, but like they're going to be up there. But yeah, I'm going to go Timberwolves. That might be a boring one. And then in the East, I'm stuck between two teams because they're kind of on the same path. I think both these teams were playoff teams last year. I think the Eastern playoffs are way easier to predict than the Western.
Yeah.
I guess if I can pick two teams for a sleeper, just because I think they're going to be around the same place, Pacers and Orlando.
Yeah.
Indiana and Orlando did the practically same seasons last year. They were fighting to stay out of the play-in. Both teams did stay out of the play-in. I think the Magic finished 5th and the Pacers finished 6th, if I'm not mistaken. These are two teams. We saw the Pacers have a deep playoff run, by the way. I think they lost to the Celtics in the Eastern Finals, if that's what it was. I know the Magic lost in 7 to the Cavs, but these are two teams. They have solid young rotations. They have solid young players. You have Tyrese Halliburton, Paolo Banchero. These are all-star caliber players they have, and I think they're two really good sleeper teams. So those are my picks for the East.
Yeah, for the East, I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic as well. I just think this is a really solid, and it's a deep team, and deep teams win games in the NBA. The Orlando Magic are just a good team. They spent a lot of money this offseason, $685 million this offseason. They broke the bank. They spent the most money out of any team this offseason. They look good as well. They've got a good roster. Paolo Banchero is I think, going to have another breakout year. The Wagners are on that team, and they're solid as well. But, yeah, that's my Eastern sleeper team. Going on to the Western sleeper team, I'm going to go with the Pelicans here. I think Zion is going to have a breakout year. He lost a lot of weight, and I know every year people are like, oh, this is the year Zion's finally going to not get hurt. Him and Brandon Ingram, I think that this just has to be the year. This is the year that it's make or break for the Pelicans, for Zion's career. And as a Zion fan, I really hope he does well. So those are my two breakout teams.
If I had to say an actual breakout team or a sleeper team for the West that wasn't a really good one, it would be the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a team that's going to be in the mix, especially in that play-in, but I think they have a chance to be like a top 6, maybe a 6 seed. Like we want to try to do a 1 through 8 type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll let you go first.
Well, I don't know. Let's just say who it's so tough to do that because you don't know because with divisions and stuff. So let's just pick a what's your finals predictions?
My finals predictions.
Do you want me to go first?
I can go because I have something in my head that I was thinking about earlier when we said we were going to talk NBA. I think out of the East, I'm not going to take the Celtics. I'm going to take the Knicks. I'm really high on the Knicks this year. They're not going to win the East, but I think if there's a team to take down the Celtics, this is the team that can do it. I think the addition of Karl Anthony Towns is really good. I think he's better than a Julius Randle, personally. I think it's a really even trade as well for both sides. I think both of those teams are going to thrive this year. but I'm going to take New York. I like Jalen Brunson. I think he's a candidate to win an MVP. I think he's a really good point guard. I think it's point guard, correct? But like he's a deep shooter. He can hit threes at a lot of times. He was really clutch. But yeah, Jalen Brunson, the Knicks, I got going in out of the East. The West. Now there's a few teams I like here. I'm stuck between three. I don't think the Nuggets are going back because I don't like them losing KCP. I know he's not really the star, but like that's a solid role player for a team like the Nuggets to have. They still have a lot of guys on that roster that are also good, but I'm stuck between these three. The Thunder are going to be in there. I know the Thunder are on a huge upward rise. They're on a surge. All those draft picks from those trades years ago are finally happening. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, another guy, it's an MVP candidate. Number two, the Timberwolves, I'm also really high on. And then the third one's the Mavs. And I really think the Mavericks are going to go back. I'm going to take Mavs and Knicks are my finals. Do you want me to pick a winner? Am I picking a winner right now?
Who's winning the NBA Finals?
Luka and the Mavs.
Wow.
Mavericks are winning it. They're going to go back. They did not play well the last time around. It didn't end in 5. It was a pretty quick one. I think Luka and the Mavs can match up well. They just brought in Klay Thompson. I know Klay Thompson's nearing those years where he's
he's not going to help this team.
Well, listen, I know he's nearing those years, but he has playoff experience.
Went 0 for 9 in the playoff game.
Still, he has playoff experience. If I'm looking at this roster, they did some stuff to add to it. Kyrie, Luka, that's enough to get to the finals. I think they can beat the Knicks. So I'm taking the Mavs. I'm gonna take the Mavs in 6, though.
They're a solid team. I don't have them going to the finals. My finals predictions out of the East, I just can't not go with the Celtics. I don't know who's gonna beat this team. This is the best team in the NBA right now, and they're incredible. I don't like the Celtics, but they're going to be back in the finals. And then coming out of the West, I think there's a few teams. You look at the Nuggets, you look at the Timberwolves, you look at the Lakers, you look at the Warriors even. I mean, the Suns are good. But I go to one team, and it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. I just don't know. I don't think that they're going to get stopped this year in the playoffs. They got there last year. They got a taste of it, and that was the best team in the regular season last year out of the West. And I'm going to go with the Thunder Celtics finals. And for my winner, I'm going to go with the Thunder. I think that they just have a lot of grit. I think they're going to upset the Celtics, and they're going to come away with the Dubsky.
So before we get to that, before we do MVP and stuff and all the other awards, do you want to do a team that's going to fall off this year and be a very disappointing team?
Sure.
There's a couple I can think of.
I mean, if you want, the Nets are going to be terrible.
I think a disappointing team is going to be Golden State.
Yeah, they'll disappoint.
I'm not high on the Warriors this year. I think they'll be in the playoff mix, but like,
the Hawks are going to be terrible. Blazers will be terrible. Jazz will be terrible. Kings will be good. They got DeRozan. Yeah. Honestly, the Mavs, I think. I could see a fall off from the Mavs.
I think the Heat as well. I'm not high on Miami as much as people are. They are still going to be good, but I think they're going to take a step back. So if I'm taking East and West, I'm going Heat and Warriors.
I'm just going to go with the Mavs here. I can see a fall off from them. I think they got a little lucky last year, but, All right, let's get into our awards. Let's start off with MVP. I look at this award, and there's a lot of guys. There's no league like the NBA where there is this many people that could just straight up win MVP. But last year, I think that this guy even should have won it. I think SGA is my MVP again. The guy puts this team on his back. He averages like 31 damn points a game, and he is just a flat-out star, and he's only going to get better. He's young. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be your MVP. Hopefully that they don't give it to Jokic again. But, yeah.
I forgot. My inner baseball fan just came out and was like, "Oh, they do East and West MVP." No, it's just whole league MVP. I'll give you my top. Do you have a top 3? So you're going Shea. Is there 2 other guys you're thinking in there?
Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, those bigs.
So it's been a big man these last few years.
Yeah, it hasn't been since James Harden.
Yeah. There's 3 guys. I'm with one winning it, but if I have 2 guys in my head, I'm gonna keep Jokic in there. He's gonna be the big guy. He's probably gonna finish 3rd though. I got Shea finishing 2nd, and my guy Luka winning it.
Wow.
Luka
Okay.
Luka is due for an MVP. He's been having great years these last few seasons. I think it's just because he has Jokic in that conference or whatever he is. Jokic in the league. Jokic is getting a lot of like these big guys taking those stats, but Luka can shoot. This guy can hit baskets all day long. Like I'm really high on the Mavs this year. I think they're going to round it out. I think they're going to win it possibly, and I think Luka winning MVP would be huge for that franchise. I think he's the cornerstone of that franchise for years to come. Looking back at that trade they did with the Hawks, could you imagine if Luka was an Atlanta Hawk and Trae Young was a Dallas Mav right now? Like they did that draft night trade. But no, I'm going to go Luka 1, Shea runner-up, Jokic 3rd. That's my MVP.
All right, let's defensive player of the year. There's a lot of guys. You look at Rudy Gobert again, but I'm going Wemby this year, man. Wemby. A lot of people are saying Wemby got robbed of it last year. I'll tell you what, that guy's a specimen. He's an alien. I think Wemby's going to win your defensive player of the year award.
I agree. I'll go Wemby. Wemby is Rudy Gobert has been one of the best defenders in NBA for a long time. Yeah, but I will go Wemby. I think he's due for one. I think he's also a guy that could be in MVP talks. Everyone loves Wemby. He's the cornerstone of that franchise. It's deserved. He's the guy for the Spurs forever, but he's going to win the Depoy.
Let's just go to Rookie of the Year. I think Dalton Knecht's going to win it.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of rookies. I think Zach Edey on the Grizzlies is the favorite to win it right now. I think Knecht is like not even top 5 in the betting odds, which I think is crazy because he balled out a lot in preseason, and I also just thought he was the best player in this draft class.
Can I say this as well about Edey? I think you and I have talked about this so many times in the past. Edey is basically the Jokic of college basketball.
Yeah.
This dude would just be feeding rebounds like every single day. Edey's good, don't get me wrong. He is a free throw merchant half the time, however, we used to call him.
Who isn't in the NBA? I mean,
yeah, college basketball fans were like not big fans of Zach Edey at Purdue because of that, like him stat packing like all these free throws or whatever. But like Zach Edey is going to be in the mix. I think he's a good fit for the Memphis Grizzlies. Don't get me wrong, but I really like Dalton Knecht just because he can shoot the basketball from range. And he didn't he win Player of the Year in college? He said he did. and I'll say this as well. I think he's gonna win it, but this rookie class isn't that exciting. This was a very draft compared to last year's, just because last year had the hype of a Wemby. This year's hype, it was like, who are half these guys? If you're just watching it as a casual, so I'll go Dalton Knecht as my rookie of the year, but like Zach Edey's the other guy that's like in that convo.
Sure. I don't know what other award there is. There's like comeback player, but who cares? Coach of the year, who cares? Yeah, I think that those are fine enough predictions for now.
You know what? I do have a coach of the year. I don't know if you have one. I gotta think here though, because there's a couple guys that are in my head right now, but there's a guy that was nominated last year, didn't win. Jamal Mosley of the Magic. My bias aside, I think this is a guy that the Magic need as a coach. I think he's a solid fit for them. I think it was great he got them back to the postseason as a non-play-in team, by the way. I think the Magic are not on a lot of people's radars, and they should be. I think the thing about the NBA that I don't like is it seems like it's ruled by the same teams every year, and no one gives these teams like the Magic, the Pacers, those types of teams in the middle any sort of chance to do anything. But these are the teams that give teams issues. I know the Magic in the past have been a team looking at their schedules that have given the Celtics some issues in the past during the regular season.
Yeah.
I like Jamal Mosley to win this award. It'll probably go to a coach like has a great year, maybe from the Knicks or whatever, maybe the Sixers, or they do something crazy. But like, if I'm looking at a team that's like in the middle of the pack that could win Coach of the Year, Jamal Mosley's the guy.
Yeah, I think when I look at Coach of the Year, I think of Joe Mazzulla from the Celtics. I think he's an incredible coach. He's one of the best in the NBA. And I get to see the Celtics breaking some records and Joe Mazzulla getting that award.
Yep. I like that one.
All right. NBA predictions. Pretty solid. We did well.
Yeah.
We will be back on Friday. Can talk more NBA and obviously talk some more football. kind of preview some games before we get into those. But now the final whistle, dual sports show. And yeah. So good episode today.
show.
Hour and a
All right,
half.
long one.
Yeah, very long show, but I had a good time. And Najee Harris, if you're listening to this,
It's like an hour ago you were talking about Najee Harris.
what a jackass. So
What a way to end it.
thank you everyone for watching, except Najee Harris if you're watching. But we'll see you guys next time, and thanks for tuning in, except you, Najee.
Yep. Adios, everyone. Have a good one.
Have a good one, everyone, besides Najee.